heard you so many times. I think this is your best, outstanding song. I think we should give him a big hand. Talking about digestion, now recently in India, these conversions coming called inculturation, right? And is this another form of digestion? Where now they follow now Mary Mata festival. They break coconut like Hindus. They put garlic. Now they call even Devaland, Christ to Devaland. Everything they are imitating Hindus. And this is another form of digestion.
Yes. The way digestion works is that the predator wants to remove and minimize the differences between his views and his style and the other side to create a comfort zone. So it is that, okay, I'm not different, I'm not European, I'm not English speaking, I speak Tamil and I speak Hindi, and I'm wearing dhoti and I do these things and I have women have Hindi also and all of this stuff. And so to make you culturally comfortable. And this idea is that outwardly we are like you, but we have a different chip inside. Like Intel has this, what is the chip inside? It used to be Pentium inside, but nowadays it is a better chip. Otherwise, i7. Okay, so it's biblical Nicene Creed inside that chip. But outwardly we break the broken heart. We do all the things that make you happy. You want to take our shoes in the church? We take our shoes. You want to serve the sacred food to Mother Mary and call it facade? You got it. Anything that doesn't violate the Nicene Creed, we will take it. What violates the Nicene Creed has to be excreted. It can't be consumed, eaten up by us. Otherwise it's poison of Christianity. And this inculturation is very dangerous because the whole lot of our people are getting duped into it. They're getting duped into it. And our gurus who said everything is same, means that, you can't even argue there's something wrong with it because they'll say it's the same. I have a relative who had some economic problems, very well educated. He used to work for Lucent in New Jersey. Very, smart guy, highly educated. He had some economic problems and family marital problems and all kinds of things. And, ours is not a very community-oriented where people get together and help somebody. So he was sort of left on his own. And then his problem worsened and then people said he's talking weird. And I was the only guy who could figure out if there's some kind of religious thing going on in his head, religious shift in his head. And he would come to the Indian marriage events wearing collar like a priest, Christian priest with kind of a Bible, reading it out. And then he would say it's the same as Gita, don't worry. All our people were saying, don't worry, he's just saying it's all the same anyway. That's our people. And one day, we were at somebody's birthday party at a restaurant, long table, a lot of people sitting. This guy was there. So I looked at him straight in the eyes and I said, so, when did you get baptized? That was my question. I just guessed that I probably have a right friend. And he was 80. No, February 7th, something like that. All the people around were struck. They said, how do you know? They asked me. They said, I could tell. So I didn't sound like I have a problem with this guy. I didn't want to create a scene. So I kept asking him wonderful denominations. So he gave the name of the denomination. Then I started discussing the philosophy. And I said, do you read out the Nicene Creed? He said, yeah, we read out every day. And all that he was telling me. And then he came to my house for a private discussion because he thought maybe Rajiv got me figured out and I'll talk to him, maybe we'll be together, maybe he thought he's going to convert me on something. So when we were having this private discussion, I said that, your kids are complaining, your wives are complaining, you're not disconnected with their tradition, your parents haven't even told them, so they'll also be wondering, so why? So he says, since I was born, I was a kid, everyone told me it's all the same. He said, why are my parents going to complain? Every time I go, they say, sir, Beta, we believe in all the things, everybody's same, so now I tell them that we are all the same. What's your problem? This is the answer. This is an answer. And half the Indians in our gathering, in that group, all these Indians are Hindus, half of them said, actually we agree with what you want. Alright. So we got really confused. We got really confused. Until you can get into the cause of the problem, which is the importance of being different. What is your identity? Who are you? Why that matters? Unless you understand that, it's a losing battle. Because you can keep arguing all you want about preserving tradition and all that, but they don't get it. They think that, okay, my kids grow up and, mosque is just another path. All paths lead to the same goal. All, truth is one, called by many names. We heard that this morning also. So this confusion is the cause that we can never get mobilized. Another question.
First of all, thank you very much for a very, very enlightening lecture. And the question is in two parts. The first one is, do you think the rate of digestion is higher in India or outside India in terms of the US and other region? And the second question is, which institutions or groups you think would play the most viable role in stopping it or introducing its acceleration?
Thank you. This is a wonderful question. Honestly, the Hindus in India and the Hindus in the US are competing for who gets digested first. Really, this is very true. And it is very sad. And when I'm giving talks there, they're saying, but this must be a problem of NRIs. I tell you that. And when I give talks here, people saying, no, you talk to India, there's their problem. Point is, we got this problem universally. We do. Now, the second part is a very important question. Both are important. Second part, which institutions can help us? For the last 18 to 20 years, gave up my business and all that in my mid-40s to spend all my time in this, all my resources, 7 days a week, and I don't have many resources that I need. In fact, people to help with resources, more research, media, whatever, if anybody is interested, you contact me. But my feeling is, where I'm trying all the institutions I can that are willing to listen. Any temple, any body, I go flying around every week somewhere that we want to bring me to educate people. And I'm finding that the highest leverage, see there's 3 or 4 target groups with leverage that I'm targeting. The most important group I would like to shift is our gurus. Because they already got the money, they already got lakhs of followers. I neither have the money nor the lakhs of followers. They have it, but they don't have the knowledge because they forgot the Purvpaksh. Whenever I talk to somebody who says he knows it, I ask them, have you done Purvpaksh of Western thought? I don't mean dismissal, attack on Christianity, but a very thoughtful study, like in the past the Hindu study Buddhism very carefully, Buddhist study Vedanta very carefully. Purvpaksh meant that you can explain the arguments of your opponents as well as the opponent can explain it. That is the starting point. You, in the Purvpaksh system of debate, until you can convince the opponent that you've got his point, all his arguments, all the subtleties, until he is impressed that you really got it, you're not allowed to criticize him and give a response because you don't understand, and what you don't understand you cannot criticize. That standard of Purvpaksh will require our people to study Western thought very, very carefully, very systematically. They would need a 4-year comparative religion course, which none of them have. They would have to hire a lot of people with PhDs in religious studies and Western enlightenment and post-enlightenment, which they don't even know about. I went to some of the prominent Hindu sampradayas and well-known organizations, and one of my favorite questions is, when you are training new Swamis, they have a academy to train new Swamis like Belur Math for Ramakrishna Mission and Siddhamari for Shindar Mission, like that everyone has. One of my favorite questions is, what is your curriculum on comparative religion? And they all say things like, truth is inside me, I should have worried about others. We're not trying to knock down anybody. Or they'll say, they're all useless, they know nothing, we have the truth, they are just all useless, so why should we study them? They don't get it. They don't get the importance of doing this study of the other. So a huge opportunity for me is to penetrate the gurus and acharyas, those who are interested. Some of them are threatened by me because they think what I'm saying will make it look like they themselves are ignorant. So I have tried to get into the door to have a one-on-one meeting with the top guy, many places. If anyone can get me with Jati Vasudev, his bodyguards around him are protecting him, not wanting to access, seriously, even though I know him. A lot of these gurus, they feel that, in their whole name they made based on a huge international clout. The point is that if you really start poking into the details, they have a kind of superficial knowledge. They really don't understand the Purvpaksh of the West. And when they argue why should we study the West and all that, I tell them that your tradition is to study the other, that is called Purvpaksh. It's just that for the last 1,000 years, since Islam came, we didn't do Purvpaksh. Since Christianity came, we didn't do Purvpaksh. With Marxism and Enlightenment and all these Western, secularism came, we did not do proper Purvpaksh, and we are paying the price. Without Purvpaksh, our tradition would have died, which is also wrong. The Purvpaksh is the methodology of understanding the other on our terms, being able to answer him, and create a difference, understanding difference, being different, so that we don't get digested. Purvpaksh is our methodology. It's a very solid Hindu methodology, and our people need to get back into that. So if there's one thing I want to do, I want to establish a tradition, revive a tradition of Purvpaksh in our sampradayas, in our guru lineages, and Purvpaksh not of Buddhists because they're not threatening us. Purvpaksh of Western thought, Purvpaksh of Islamic thought is what we have to do. Maoist thought, we have to do Purvpaksh on our terms and how to answer that. Yeah. So to me, those institutions of religion, of our dharmic centers would be the most important. Then I'm trying to get into academics. I'm trying because that's where the college people are brainwashed. And academics both in the US and in India keep having talks and put them up on YouTube and so on. Academics would be a great thing. And then, organizations like this, where at least the people are already into dharma. Now they need to learn Purvpaksh. So, people who come here, I don't have to explain to them and argue for dharma. They already are. I just have to explain to them, educate them about the Purvpaksh of the other civilizations, how to talk back, how to answer back, how to explain our side to them. So that's a very good one. Media would be fantastic, but I don't know how to get in. They don't want a guy like me, because I'm not Shah Rukh Khan and I'm not some cricket guy and I'm not into some political scandal and I'm not the kind of gossip, masala which they're looking for. So their attention span is a few seconds, and I have nothing to say in a few seconds. I just don't. So that's my answer. Please.
Congratulations and thanks for the exposition. My question is, as you are telling, I don't see the Western, Western Universalism. Western Universalism, in my opinion, is borrowed from dharmic civilization. But anyway, one thing is now you can look at humanity as one race. So unless we develop our own universalism, universal values, it is difficult to coexist or live together with all the humanity under one umbrella. So what is your solution to, you figured out the solution or the universal counter to the Western Universalism, only dharmic universalism is the answer. I mean, we have ideas on that.
Yes. Thank you. So I restate the question. He says several things. One is that Western Universalism is derived from our ideas. Maybe, maybe not, doesn't matter. You could say the tiger is strong because he's eaten all the deer only. That's why he's strong. But that doesn't help the deer. If I is eating me up, it doesn't help me to say, I'm safe with him because he's tough and strong because he's eaten deer only. However he became strong is irrelevant. The fact is he's strong and he wants to eat me up. That's what matters, not how he became strong. Right? So maybe Western Universalism made up all kind of people, they made up Asians also, and Native Americans also, they colonized blacks also. It's not that they only did it from us, they took over many others. But how they did it is irrelevant. The point is they're knocking at my door and they like to get me. That's what matters. Now, the real question you ask is, if humanity is to live as one, we need a coexistence architecture. We need an open architecture where all civilizations and cultures and diversity can coexist. The Western Universalism does not have a track record of diversity surviving. For a little while, yes, but eventually, after a certain amount of time goes by, their language is gone, destroyed, their dress and lifestyle is destroyed, it all gets digested into Western Universalism. You just have to look at the past. India, on the other hand, has a very long history of a universalism which respects the diversity of others, because when they come, they do not. The Syrian Christians did not stop being Syrian Christians, the Zoroastrians did not stop being Zoroastrians, the people of different languages and different kind of traditions did not stop. Now you have to ask, why is it, this is a question that all of you, I have answered in this book with homework assignment, I'm giving you to read the book to answer this question. Why is it that when there is change in Western religion, the previous one has to be destroyed for the next one to be valid? Yeah? Like when you install Windows 8, then they have to uninstall Windows 7. Yeah? You can't have both running. Whereas, we may have a rat temple from way back, and nobody has gone and said you must convert and get rid of that and upgrade to the next release. So we can have people doing Tantra, we can have people doing Advaita, we can have somebody Bhakti of one and somebody Bhakti of another. We have people of many strata, many historical times, old faiths, newer faiths, and yet they are all coexisting. Why is it that in our case, for the new release to be valid, they don't want you to uninstall the previous release? That can also live in you. Very interesting. Very interesting. Even in the same family, you may be practicing something which is called like a new kind of a thing that is evolved in our dharma, and your mother may be practicing something else, your grandmother will practice something else. Nobody is going to say that you make everything uniform and bring it all in line one. This is a very important question answered philosophically. Why for the other side it is necessary to have this uniformity, one, no diversity of views allowed. Why can't I have an Ishta Devta of this kind, that kind in those religions? Even among themselves. Why isn't there, like we have so many unified temples like this one, with so many devtas? Why couldn't you put Mary and then put something about the Kaaba and then put some Jesus, Star of David? And even among the Abrahamic religions, why couldn't you have a unified house of worship? You can't. There is a philosophical reason why the validity of X, the legitimacy of X, requires falsifying Y. You have to falsify Y, otherwise you're not legitimate. This is not an easy, it's not a map that they are bad guys. This is a requirement by edict. Requirement. You must understand it very detailed. So pluralism and multiculturalism within Western Universalism is a facade. Within the Western Secularism, you can tolerate others. Tolerance is an insult. Tolerance means you're no good, but I'll put up with you. You're going to hell, but you know what, I'll put up with you. It's an insult. If somebody says, I'll tolerate you to have dinner next to me, sit next to me, you eat dinner, I'll tolerate you. What an insult. You say, what's wrong with me? Why am I going to tolerate you? Our term is mutual respect. Mutual respect for difference is a very different concept than tolerance. When you ask a Christian, what is your policy on pluralism? What is your policy on those who are not Christians, who are doing something different? And they will say with great pride they say, oh, we have a policy of tolerance. You say, yeah, but in your office, would you like someone to say, I tolerate you next to me? In your house, suppose your spouse says, I tolerate you in the house. It's an insult. It's an insult. I have many stories I'll give you some stories very interesting. I was invited to a major university in California starting a World Religions Center, and they wanted a member of each religion to come, and they wanted to declare peace and harmony and have dialogues. This is the 1990s. So they put me on the board of advisors as a Hindu. And when they were launching this event, this place where all the dean came and vice chancellor and provost, all these guys were there. So they were all giving speeches, and they had drafted a resolution that all these religions that are represented hereby pledge to have tolerance towards each other. So when it was my turn, I proposed. I was the only guy who actually disagreed. They all agreed and they all clapped. I said that I would like to request one change, remove the word tolerance and put in the word mutual respect. I said the difference is, if I respect you are legitimate. If I really tolerate you, I feel you're no good, you're evil, you're going to hell, but I'll put up with you. And I want mutual respect. Now this created a big stir. After this, I had to leave for personal reason. I came back home. I got a call from this lady who was head of this whole organization. She called me and she said, Rajiv, you really created a big commotion. I said, what did I do? She said, you asked for this mutual respect. Now they are debating whether we can do it or not. So I went and told this to Swami De-Indianization. Many of you probably know him. He said, that's a good idea. We should want to mutual respect. So then, year 2000 was the United Nations declared a Millennium Summit. Some of you might remember. All the leaders of all the world religions were invited by the United Nations. Baba Jain was head of that group. And under Kofi Annan, they were going to declare world peace and all the religions will have harmony and whatnot. And this millennium will be the millennium of peace. That's what will happen. So there was a resolution which had been drafted, and in the resolution it said that we all declare tolerance for each other. So Swami Dayananda Saraswati, since everybody had to approve, he crossed out and put mutual respect. And then the Vatican guy, when he would get it, he would cross it out and put tolerance. And this went on. And New York Times reported that there is a serious risk, there is a deadlock of language, of technical language, people are googling, they didn't give details. And therefore there is a real risk that the summit may collapse without a resolution, and it will be a big embarrassment for the United Nations. So this went on, and they kept putting pressure on Swamiji. Swamiji put his heels and said, no, I want mutual respect. Tolerance is not good. So at the 11th hour, the Vatican blinked and they passed a resolution with mutual respect. And everybody thought, wow, this is very good. But the story is done then there. About a month later, after everybody's gone back to their home, the Vatican issues a clarification. Official. And the head of the Vatican delegation was Cardinal Ratzinger, who later became Pope Benedict, the current Pope. So it's not a small fry. He was a big shot even then. He was head of Vatican's external affairs. Anything to do with the outside world, interfaith and whatever. He was the head of that. Then he later became Pope and changed his name to Pope Benedict. He was called Cardinal Ratzinger. He's the one. So he's the one